I'm Lisette, Nieves, and I just want to make sure everyone gets to hear each of us introduce ourselves first and just give like a 30-second piece because they should know how special you are, okay? You already know me, Lisette, and a proud board member of JFF. Yes.
My name is Christina Hasaan. I am a parent advisor working with the Hope Center right now and a recent Temple graduate with my bachelor's degree in sociology and a minor in Africology.
Good afternoon. My name is Frederick Shegog. I am the founder and CEO of The Message LLC. I speak on mental health and substance abuse for a living, and I'm also a graduate of Westchester University, and I'm starting my MPA in the fall.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Evan Meredith. I am a recent Climb Higher graduate and now serving as an alumni. Through Climb Higher, I was able to break into tech sales and now work for an on-demand wellness staffing company as a sales development representative.
It's an honor to do this session, but I still find it kind of funny when we always talk about non-traditional students because the majority of students fit in the non-traditional category. But we will accept that non-traditional students are not as big as they are, but they are, right? So I have a question for each one of you, which is, can you first just tell me a little bit about what would you say to traditional higher education and employers out there, one or two things that they could do now to make it much more supportive for non-traditional students? How about we start with you, Christina?
So there's actually only one thing that you need to do. You need to recognize that students are humans first. Before they decided to take on the title of student, they were moms, dads, employees, individuals with lives. And being a student just makes it that much more complicated. You need to support the student outside of the doors. This is also for employers. When students graduate, as I just did a month ago, they begin to look for their path in life. You have to recognize the humanity in these applicants. You have to realize that their resume not look like everybody else's. There might not be as many internships. There might not be as many jobs. There might not be any, right? But you have to see beyond that piece of paper and be willing to interview them anyway. Be willing to see the humanity in them anyway.
Thank you. Frederick.
Yes. To echo her point, if we can take the tuition check, we should care about the whole student, right? Because the reason we're here is hoarding of resources. So what I'm saying is, like for me, I'm getting my MPA this fall. Please offer that online because some of us students have to work because college is not free. So the reality of it is if you offer it online, what that tells me is you understand everybody's not coming from a home where there's two parents, they're supported, and they have all the resources they need. So with it being online, that allows me to travel and keynote like I need to. Being online means there's different things where I don't have to be in regular brick and mortar. I can be able to do my classes on the time that I need to. Understand the climate that you're in. The economy right now, we see that there's a wealth gap in this country. You know what that means? People have to work. So if you understand that, offer online supports. That's what you have to do if you're in higher ed. It is now 2022. It's not 1930 anymore. Wake up.
All righty then. See, there we go. So Evan, I want to hear from you, and I just want to acknowledge, Christina, when you say recognize the whole student, right? Because on paper we don't get the full grasp of all the contributions, right? Because when you and I were talking backstage, you were saying I have been a student advocate from day one, but it was only in this program that they recognized who you were, right? And Frederick, the same thing for you. When you're like, I know what I need to do to push the policy lever. And that MPA, I'm going to do that with an online degree. Evan, what is it for you that's going to help you do the thing that makes the most impact for you?
I would say for me, this whole week we've been learning about how talent exists everywhere, and we need to kind of learn and share on finding new ways to get this talent that's been hidden and overlooked for so long. And a person like myself, not having a college degree, but mostly having the skills that I've gained through work experience working in property management for 6 years in my sales, I really feel like there's a lot of talent out there that exists in so many different places that can really benefit employers. And what I feel like we need to do as employers, as recruiters, as investors is we need to really sit down and understand that we're all interconnected and intertwined with one another, and we really just need to put in the work and the effort to see there's talent that exists everywhere in this world.
Thank you. So this conference is about See Beyond, right? And I'm going to do a mashup of the questions they gave me, and they knew it was dangerous giving me questions, right? So they knew that. They were prepared for that. So I'm going to mash it up a little bit. I'd love for you to tell me, because A, there isn't a single person here who got to where they are at by themselves, right? If you did, put your hand up, because I don't know you, right? I don't know who you are, right? So I would love for you to tell me about the program that leveraged your talents and helped you see beyond, and what you want to offer the audience.
So the Hope Center is a research center based in Temple, and I found out about it in a class that I was in. And as I told you, I had already been advocating for student rights at the Community College of Philadelphia. When I returned at 26 years old, I realized all of the holes in the system and all of the things that didn't fit me. It reinvigorated something that was in me in high school, where I was like, wait, these bathrooms aren't supposed to be like this. Let's get new ones, right? So when taking classes at Temple, I found out about the Hope Center, and it sort of kind of gave me the words, the language, the vocabulary to what I was already expressing, that I wasn't getting the services for food that I needed. I didn't have housing support. The Hope Center really offered me the opportunity to be a voice for students. So right now, I'm leading a subcommittee for the governor to advise him what parents need in universities in Pennsylvania. I'm meeting with parents that are from all across the Commonwealth and are struggling with all kinds of things. And we're covering topics from finance to childcare to tuition. And I would have never been able to understand the complex issues that parents face, because I know my singular story, right? This allows for me to see a broader spectrum of what's actually going on with other people. Sometimes when you're going through struggles, it can be isolating. It can be lonely, right? And you feel like I must be the only student in this classroom, especially at a PWI, that is going through this, that can't find food, that doesn't know how they're gonna be able to eat on campus, right? When I'm sitting down with other parents at other universities, there's a community that's built that's like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna let them know what you're telling me. I'm gonna let them know that this legislation needs to change. I'm gonna let them know that the system isn't working for us. And the universities that are there care. They really care and they really wanna change. But this platform, this opportunity right here, I wouldn't have had without the Hope Center.
Thank you. Oh boy, I got a whole bunch of Hill visits for you to make. Don't worry. I already see a path. I already see a path. Frederick, how about you?
So my mom calls them blessings in my life. It was a village of people, which I like to call the Freddie Village. That village was not only the Hope Center, not only Dr. Sarah, but it was the janitor in the building.
That's right.
It was the lunch lady. Let me tell you why. Because a lot of times we look at the people that just opened doors, but what about the people that opened up the soul? Right? What about the people, the days I wanted to quit and I was tired and they said to me, hey, keep going. So it was a village of people that inspired me and believed in me, that kept me going, which then allowed me to meet people that had the keys to the doors. So it took more than just one person. I am a collection of people that looked beyond the darkening of the bubble on the app. And they saw that, you know what, this kid can speak. You know what, this kid got charisma. You know what, this kid has a gift. Let me show him how to use his gift to help other people. And because they did that for me, guess what I'm doing now? Making sure I'm lifting while I'm climbing. Because how could I get here and not care about the kids behind me? Hence the company that I have. So that's how I got here.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Evan, Talk to me.
Well, I would say being an alumni from Climb Higher, I was able to get the soft skills, I was able to get the hard skills to break into the tech industry. And prior to Climb Higher, I didn't have a college degree. I wasn't passionate about school. I was a workhorse because in my house, when I moved back home from Sonoma State, if I wanted to live at my parents' house, I needed to go to school part-time and work. And by the time I got 25, I told my parents, I'm not going to school for myself. I'm going to school for you, which took a lot of courage and a lot of emotion. And I then went on to work in property management for 6 years, and I had all of my friends telling me, you need to get into tech sales. They were sending me all these job descriptions. I had no idea what SaaS meant. I thought fintech was a type of swimwear product. And I then stumbled across Climb Higher on a LinkedIn search, and what really caught my attention was the green logo, because that's my favorite color. So then I went to the Climb Higher website, read the About Me, saw Neats on the CEO's video, and I got a call from our program director, and she let me speak with a fellow that was going to be teaching us through the customer experience cohort, and I was able to see the outcome. I was able to see a fellow who went through the Salesforce admin track, 6 months later landed a job in tech, became an alumni, and became a fellow and gave it back. So I'm very passionate on giving back to the community that helped me and giving back to others to help sort of combat a major issue in society.
You know, Evan, I'd love you to tell that story that we got to talk about this morning at breakfast. Talk about like a particular tactic or strategy that Climb Higher helped you to do with your resume, particularly in tech.
I mean, the biggest one was social capital. We've talked about it and heard about it all week. I've always had a LinkedIn profile. I've always had connections working in property management. I just didn't know how to engage with those contacts. And through Climb Higher, I got the confidence and the courage to talk to general managers, reach out to vice presidents. I'm talking to them on a daily basis, exploring staffing partnerships for my current company. And to be able to ask for money, you need to be comfortable on speaking to anybody in the room around you. And I believe I was able to also enhance my empathy skills being a part of Climb Higher, which I think is a very huge asset and skill that you need to be very successful at in sales.
Thank you. Frederick, I really appreciated the piece you talked about, the context you're in, that depending on the day, anybody could help shape your mood, could inspire you, right? I think about that as a kid growing up in Brooklyn, right? I loved the janitor at my school. He always had the best attitude. He spoke Spanish. I felt at home, right? So I get that. I really appreciate that. When you're thinking about this theme, See Beyond, what's an action, if there's one action that you could take today that's going to be different because of being at this conference, what would it be?
For me, understand that I never thought that I could travel the country and keynote and speak. Because I was told one time when I started this, what are you doing keynoting and you don't even have your doctorate yet? But I thank that woman for saying that, and I owe her a bottle of orange juice. I'm gonna tell you why. Because what that told me is, I'm in a world of gatekeeping. So I have to work double hard. And I have to use my pain that I've been through to be my greatest fruit. And I need to know how to market it. So what I did was, instead of crying, I started learning the language of higher ed. I started reading. I started talking to other people that were keynoting. And what I figured out is, now that it was hard for me to get through that door, I gotta make sure the people behind me don't get to that door. So a lot of times we hear, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Well, I'm gonna create my own table. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make sure when I bring people in my building, I'm not just looking at your resume. What do you bring to the culture of the building? Who are you? Are you a parent? Are you married? Because whatever I hire your whole life. I'm not just hiring you as an individual and what your skill set is. Because yeah, maybe you're good and you have your degree, but you might not fit the culture of my building. So that's what I need people to do that are hiring. Stop saying we don't have the funds. We have the funds, allocate them right. Put programming into your human resources. What questions are you asking? How are you breaking down? Are you putting them in positions to win? Are you asking them, hey, when you come in here, what's your daily basis look like? What's your home life look like? Until we start doing that, we're going to historically continue to be in these situations. So that's what I'm asking. Stop looking at the bubble and start looking at who I am.
All right. Thank you, Frederick. Thank you. Thank you. And I really appreciate the notion of this idea. We talk about it too, opportunity hoarding, right? Right? What are the gatekeepers, right? You learn early. No is one step closer to yes, huh? I see that. I see that. Christina, how about you? Talk to me about going through this experience. What is that one action that's going to be a little bit different you're going to do going back?
So I have to piggyback off Freddie. The last 2 days I've been here, first of all, I felt so blessed to be here. It's amazing. But all I got was shock and awe. When people saw Temple University, they're like, what department? Where do you work? I don't work at Temple. I'm a student. And they're like, second question, how'd you get here? Right. Why are you here? What are you doing here? I don't want that for anybody else, which means we need to normalize students coming to spaces like this.
Okay.
I was speaking to somebody about it, and they said, we're talking about essential workers around essential workers. Everybody that serves us here, everybody that's waiting on us here.
That's right.
And they have no clue what the power of their opinion and their voice is because we're not uplifting it. When we look left and right, we in this room have to do better. We can't gatekeep this space with an $1,100 ticket. We can't. Because if I was the individual in Philadelphia, I could never afford to be here and to get this knowledge. The amount of wealth that I'm gonna have after leaving, just from connections like this that I've made, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna be blunt now, nobody's gonna like it when I say this, I did not attend any session that wasn't in this ballroom, accidentally. I wanted to go to every one. I'm walking out, my intent is to go to a breakout, I bump into somebody, I drop my cup. I see somebody with a nice dress, we stop, we have interaction. And it is not, for me, it was no agenda. I didn't come as some CEO trying to rub elbows with a senator or something, you know? I came to literally live the experience, and I met so many amazing, wonderful people that could relate to me, that understood me. That gives me the power to then go back to Philly and number one, know that I'm capable, but number two, see that in everybody that I bump into every day. It's not just people in this room that are interesting and smart and invigorating. There's people around us all the time. And we don't give them that time because they don't have that lanyard with the CEO tag on it, right? But that's not okay when we're talking about workforce and education in the future and what we want to build. We need community. We need to be together on this next step. Whatever it may be, we can't be in rooms making decisions for each other without other people being there.
Wow. Thank you for that.
No problem.
I'm so lucky to know her. I'm so lucky that she's my friend, y'all. That's my friend.
I do want to say to JFF, I think we have the leader of the student track right here, just want as we're going through this. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Evan, you get to take us home. All right? So when you hear that theme, See Beyond, and think about the journey you had, Climb Higher, and before, what is something you're going to do different when you go back? What's that kind of action you want to take for yourself?
I think the biggest thing that I need to do is use my voice. I need to speak up. I need to meet with our recruiting team. I need to meet with our talent acquisition team. I heard this yesterday. We need to start reviewing our job descriptions and really taking that red pen out and combing through line after line as far as what we're looking for, and seeing that many people out there have many different skills that can help benefit employers. And while I do agree that a degree is very beneficial and very empowering to have, I was not hired with a degree. I was hired based off of my skill sets. I was hired based off of how I carry myself and how I basically express myself in an interview and my metrics. I feel like we need to dig a little bit deeper, and my kind of call to action for kind of employers out there is let's just work together. Let's work together and share amongst people that have the decision, that have the power to persuade the company on who they're hiring.
Thank you. And I just want to say a thank you to this incredible panel that's here. Thank you. I think it's important that we close out with proximity. What does it mean for folks who are navigating these spaces, right? So thank you for that and your honesty. I want to say I have a take home too, and something that I learned today that I know that I want to change tomorrow is I have an internship program. I take non-traditional students. I even offer housing, but I've not developed or supported an exact track for those who are court involved. I need to do that. Right? Because if you don't say it specifically, it doesn't happen, right? So that was one of mine today that I'm taking back, because we could keep learning, right, and do that. So I thank you for that. We don't get to say this often. Thank you to the JFF team. This conference is fantastic because of you. And my parting words for all of you is, what's the action you're going to take back? What's made you think a little bit differently, right? Even for us who've been in this for a long time, what's that one thing that you're going to go back with? Thanks so much, everyone.